This is the 2024 GMC Yukon XL Denali. Is it the ultimate full-size SUV? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I borrowed this model from my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video. And we'll start off here with, well, the usability after dark, because everything is LED. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. The flickering effects you see there is just evidence that a lot of these cameras do not like LED lighting. That's why you see that. It's not really happening. LED fog lights on the lower portion of the bumper as well. And there's a lot of silver trim here as opposed to chrome. So for those of you who are not necessarily fans of chrome, that's a good thing. The red lettering surrounded in chrome with the GMC logo right there. And what's here and not here is interesting, because you have a forward-facing camera or a front camera, but it does not have a front camera washer. I don't know that too many people are worried about that. We may see that come to these models for 2025. We'll just have to wait and see. This particular model is two-wheel drive, which means it's rear-wheel drive. Let's talk about our tire and wheel size. As far as our width goes, this is going to be 285. A lot of meat on the ground, a 70 series sidewall wrapped around the 22-inch wheels. And as far as our remote goes, let me get the remote out of the Yukon so I can show it to you. It was not in my pocket where I expected it to be, but now we have that. There's your GMC logo on the back. You have remote start and the ability to not only use remote start right there, but to open and close your power tailgate back there. And there's a little trick I'm going to show you where that is concerned that might help you out. Power adjustable side view mirrors with your turn signal indicators built in, body color mirror caps. They're heated, they're power adjustable, and you have your blind spot monitoring right there. Now let me open the door right here. I'm just going to show you something real quick here to help out with knowing that these are also power folding side view mirrors. A lot of people like to know about that. Now you know, in case you were curious. Now you'll also find your power assist steps right here that you can actually use in a couple of different ways. Obviously, when you open the doors, they deploy. Let's see if we can keep that door open. It's the problem with doing this one-handed. There we go. And then when we close that, well, that's going to deploy or go back under the vehicle. Now you can actually go into your infotainment screen and leave them deployed if you want to. That helps to reduce the opportunity for door dings. If a vehicle that isn't high enough opens their door, they're going to hit the steps first before they hit your paint. That's a good thing. And on the rear doors, as well as up here on the front, we're also going to have these buttons right here. That's going to be passive entry. You can open and close, or I should say lock and unlock all four doors from that area. You're going to have your roof rails up there. The body color, a little bit of a combination of body color and a little bit of a black finish here, a matte black finish with your rear roof spoiler. That helps to channel air over the rear window when you're driving down the road. But when it gets dirty or it's raining, you have your windshield or rear window wiper concealed away right here. It's not get those mixed up. This is not the windshield. But I like how that's concealed away up there. Gives it a nice clean look back here. Now, quad tip exhaust as well. We finished things off with the LED tail lights, and here is what I wanted to show you. So I'm going to just kick my foot underneath there. Well, I say I'm going to. Let's get that to work. There we go. We got it that time. But if you ever come back here to do that, and you do it a couple of times like I just did, and this rear tailgate does not open, here is what you need to do. So let's go check this out here in the interior. Most likely, this is going to be the problem that you're facing. We'll turn that sound off right there just to get rid of that ding for you. And let's see here, come on. Here we go. Get rid of that sound for you to show you the control right here. So you have three different settings. You can go to 3/4, you can go to off. It might be set to off. That's what can contribute to whether or not that rear, your tailgate, is actually opening or not. In case you were curious about that, some people may think that there's some kind of a defect. There is not. 7,300 up to 7,700 pounds of towing capacity is what you're going to have depending on how your model is equipped. And what motivates this Yukon XL to get down the road? The 6.2-liter V8, the most powerful engine option available for this model. It makes 420 horsepower, 460 on the torque. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And let's take a look at the MPGs for this model. 14 city, 19 highway, 16 combined. And ironically, since it's a 6.2-liter V8, 6.2 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Speaking of the gas tank, that's going to be over here on the driver's side. Let's take a look real quick, and I'll give you some information that I think should actually be on your window sticker, because most people don't know. If you're curious and you're saying, well, what is that information? It has to do with the size of the gas tank. It's 28 gallons. And how about cargo capacity? Well, there is a lot. And even with the seats in their upright positions back here, there is a ton of space. But when you lower these seats, which you can do a couple of different ways, we have the power rear seats, which you can lower or raise with these buttons right here. So I'm going to go ahead and lower those. You can also use these controls to lower the middle seats, but you'll have to manually put those back in place. Cargo capacity numbers come in between 41.5 up to 144.5 cubic feet. That is a lot of space. We also have the power outlet right here as well, and there is space underneath the floor. You see the tools right there to change the tire. You do have a spare tire located underneath the vehicle, and there is a lot of space underneath this floor to allow for storage. And having a full-size SUV means carrying a lot of passengers around. What are they going to find? Well, first of all, good sturdy materials. Now, I will be honest, you have a wood grain look right here with this trim, but it is plastic, but hopefully you can hear this. That's nice and sturdy. Also your silver trim there, the silver door handle, not gloss black. That should make a lot of people happy. Plenty of room with the armrest right here. It is good and comfortable. The upper and the lower door bins. There's a lot of space right there. You'll find the Denali logo right here on the door sill. And you can move these seats back and forth with this lever right here. A little hard to do one-handed. And then you have the lever here. It has ×2. Why is that? Because you pull on it one time and it folds flat like that. You pull on it a second time and it goes up and out of the way and makes it easy to gain access to the third row of seating. Now I'm going to put that seat back because of something I'm going to show in just a little bit. One thing that's easy to see, we can show from right here, the panoramic sunroof. There is a power shade to conceal that away if so desired, limit the amount of light coming into the interior. You will also find that that front portion tilts and slides open. And we'll find that there are cup holders back here, also a USB option. Both sides of the seats have that. And something else that I really like here is the fact that you have these air conditioning vents that are located in the roof area. Why is that a good thing? Instead of having them down here, as some competitors do, whether it's a full-size SUV or definitely some mid-size SUVs, not that those are competitors of the Yukon, but I like the fact that they're up here instead of down there because the air has less distance to travel. So whether it's warm or cool air, it's going to reach the face of the passenger quicker and still be warm or cool depending on what's needed. Plenty of room here with leg space. Now this seat is all the way back. It's not reclined, but it is all the way back. If it was reclined, yes, that would be a little bit of a problem. And you can recline these rear seats as well. So that's a good thing to know about. That can be taken care of. And one reason, or the only reason really, why I wanted to leave this seat in the upright position here, the kids and maybe even some of the adults can use the pass-through right here to get out of this third row area. But that's not the only option. You can pull on the release right here or just use the button, which is right here. And so I'm going to push that button one time. I'm going to push it a second time. And there's what happens. And that's what I wanted to show you, just so you can see some of the options and the functionality of the third row. And let's talk about what middle row passengers are going to find. Once again, we're going to find those air conditioning vents that are very useful in their placement. Also have the lights right here and rear seat pockets on the driver and passenger sides. Here are the cup holders and the command center, as I like to call it, because you can control everything from fan speed the heated seats, which these middle row seats are heated. You can also control climate, the temperature, all that good stuff. There's USB connectivity back here, and there is also a power outlet right there. And as I showed you earlier, both of these seats on the driver and passenger sides here will move back and forth to change positioning to change leg space. So if somebody wants to stretch out a little bit more, they might be able to. It just depends on who's sitting in the back seat. Also, the armrest right here. The only thing about this armrest, it would be nice to see some kind of a setup right here where it could raise up and down depending on a person's height, and could increase its height or decrease its height, because you only have one setting here. There's no way to do anything with that because it only stays put in that down position. When it's up here, it doesn't stay. So just something that I noticed, maybe not a big deal. Most of you are going to be focused on what's in the front seat, especially in the driver's seat. For those of you who are saying, okay, Tom, I really like what I've seen so far, but am I going to like the price? Well, you'll have to tell me what you think. It's $87,565. Here's what else you're going to find beyond what I've already shown you. With the driver and passenger side door panels, with the exception of all of the switches here and seat memory, which is right here, basically both doors are the same. So we're going to have that, all the controls for your windows, lock and unlock, and everything to control the side view mirrors right here. So in case you didn't know, I think I showed this earlier in the video, but I don't remember, there is the ability, in fact I'm pushing this button right here, to use the power folding mirror function. We'll also find your drive mode selector, everything for controlling lighting on the exterior of the vehicle right here, some of your safety features here, as well as your power parking brake. And if you see this, you know the vehicle has a head-up display. You'll also have a power adjustable steering wheel. That is the control that makes that work. And you also have some very nice animated graphics here on the screen. Depending on who you are, you might think that's really awesome. Some people might say that's just one more thing to break. It's funny how that works, but everybody's entitled to their opinions on that kind of thing. Some people like it, some people aren't worried about it. After you've seen it a few times, it probably doesn't matter anyway. And here is our digital instrument cluster. Very nice, very clean, crisp look, nice graphics. And if you want to make some changes, well, here's what we need to do. Let's see if we can get to that. All I'm going to do is arrow over, and we'll eventually get to the screen where I need to do that. Here we are right here. So you can either do individual portions of the instrument cluster, if you want to change one side or the other, the lower gauges, whatever you want to do, or if you want to go with some preset looks. Now that's classic. Here's what progressive looks like. Just so you can see, a little slow, but we'll go ahead and show it all to you real quick, as fast as we can anyway. There is digital and clean. You'll have to tell me how clean you think this looks. I guess that's what clean looks like to GMC. We'll go ahead and go back to classic. And one thing that is good to know here is if you get to a point where maybe you say to yourself, I don't like everything that I've done here, you can come all the way down here to reset to defaults, and you're set. Steering wheel mounted controls, I think you know what all is there, pretty easy to deal with. You'll control not only your front and rear window wipers right here on this lever, but you will also be able to let people around you know what you're doing, what your intentions are while you're driving. Imagine being able to do that. Some of you don't realize that you can. That's called the blinker lever or the turn signal lever. And we can also work with our head-up display here. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's see if I can get that on the screen. I hope that's showing up. It's hard to do with these cameras sometimes because they don't like LED lighting as much, and so you'll get that flickering effect sometimes. The one place where a lot of people are going to say, I'm not too happy about that, is right here, the shifter. So let's see how that works. So you're going to obviously push to go into park, pull to go into reverse, push to go into neutral, pull to go into drive, and push to go into L, and you can go back and forth right there if you want to, or low is what that is ultimately. One thing I definitely like here is your infotainment screen. You have Google Assistant here, so you can say, hey, you know who. I won't say it so I don't set off devices in your homes or wherever you might be, although that would be kind of a funny prank I could play on people if I wanted to. If I knew YouTube trolls were watching, I would do it, but I won't do it today. But this is what we have. wireless capabilities for your cell phone, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are both right here. They're grayed out because nothing's connected right now, but you can see what is here. Very easy to work with, very easy to deal with, and you have cameras everywhere. Your overhead view, you have the front and rear view cameras, and you also have this view that can help you in a couple of different ways. If you were pulling into a car wash, for example, or just into a place where you wanted to see if you were in the middle of your lane, or not your lane, but your parking space, that would work there. So really, there's almost endless opportunities here to use the multiple camera views to see what's going on around the vehicle. Very easy to deal with, that's for sure, especially for those of you who maybe haven't had a vehicle this large before. Some people maybe are a little intimidated by that, but it's time to step up to a larger vehicle. You can go into settings and make a lot of changes here. I'm just going to show you very quickly what's here because there is a lot. Teen driver mode, buckle to drive is here. You also have rear seat reminder, which, let me say something about that. I know some people are going to say you shouldn't have to be reminded of what's in the back seat, especially with your kids, right, that are in car seats. Well, I won't say too much about that, but you know what? You might get really busy and forget about the briefcase you have back there or whatever documents for your important meeting. So there are some options there where you can use that to your advantage in just normal situations. I can't imagine forgetting that kids are back there, but, well, you never know these days. And how about collision and detection systems, where you can see what's here? Front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, in case you're looking into the back seat and making sure the kids are still back there so you don't forget. That's going to let you know that you need to go. Lane change alert, park assist, you can see what all is here. Pretty simple to deal with, but there are a lot of nice things here that help out with the vehicle. Now here's something I wanted to show you real quick, your power assist steps. We're going to go down here to more power assist steps. Let's not get tongue twisted there. If you wanted to deploy those and leave them out for whatever reason, there you go. That's how you do that. Just one of those neat little tricks that you don't normally see in a lot of these videos. So I think everybody else knows pretty much what's here. I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of time on that. We'll also find everything here for controlling the radio volume, changing stations, all of that's going to be here. You can go home right here. Let's say you were on a screen you didn't want to be on and you wanted to just go home. You can do that, or you can push right here as well. Dual zone climate control. Good news is that you have ventilated seats. That's something we love in Northwest Louisiana pretty much year round. Every once in a while we need our heated seats, but not very often. The driver and the passenger have those things. And concealed away right here is wireless charging. There's the wireless charging pad, the 12-volt power outlet, and a couple of USB options. Speaking of the wireless charging pad, I would love to see GMC add a wireless charging pad for rear seat passengers, maybe one or two back there. Just something to think about. Cup holders and a very large center console. And speaking of wireless chargers, you can actually buy a aftermarket wireless charger to go right here. There is a way to plug that in back here. So that's there. This is doubling as an armrest, so it has its conveniences, and there is a lot of space within. So a lot of opportunities to take advantage of storing large items, small items, and really doing just about anything you need to. Okay, we're going to get out on the road for a quick test drive here with the Yukon XL Denali. A very enjoyable vehicle to drive, as large as it is. And I know some of you out there may be saying, you know, Tom, our family has grown out of the midsize SUV segment, but that Yukon is a lot bigger than what I'm used to. What is it going to be like to adjust to driving it? I don't think it will be that big of a difference. It might take a little bit of getting used to. Yes, it's large. Yes, it's not as maneuverable as a mid-sized SUV, but you know what? You have all the advantages. If you go Denali or Denali Ultimate, you'll have all those different camera views that I showed you earlier in the video. So there are a lot of ways to adjust quickly and to deal with, well, if you're a little nervous about being too close to somebody, you can see every single angle with all of the different camera views on this model. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. I don't think that's going to be a big deal at all whatsoever, no matter what the situation is. Ultimately, you have really more than enough horsepower to get down the road, to do what you need to do, to pass people, to merge into traffic, to tow, whatever it is. And speaking of that, one thing I didn't mention earlier, I showed you the control for the driving modes. Well, what are the driving modes? Well, obviously you start with normal, you have sport, you have your tow haul mode, you also have a snow and ice mode. If you're going to be dealing with a lot of snow and ice, I would definitely make sure you have four-wheel drive. This particular model, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is two-wheel drive. Overall, the technology here, I think, is very simplistic to learn, very simplistic to use. That's one thing across the board with GMC on all of their vehicles. It's very easy to deal with. On some vehicles, even on the Hummer EV, it looks really complicated, but when you start learning it, it's not complicated at all. So just something to think about where all of that is concerned if somebody has that concern. But overall, a great vehicle. Easy to see out of as well. You have these nice tall windows, but keep in mind, if you have a full load of passengers and you're having a hard time seeing out of that back window with your rear view mirror, well, you have your blind spot monitoring built in to your side view mirrors here. That will eliminate that problem. And as large as this model is, yeah, I don't think it's going to have any trouble getting down the road with a full load of cargo, passengers, all that. 420 horsepower is definitely going to get the job done. Plenty of torque to work with that and keep things moving. It's just a really well-balanced vehicle. It will be interesting to see. We're going to see some changes for 2025 with these Yukons. I'm interested to see what they are. Looking forward to bringing them to you when they're available. All right, tell me what you think about the 2024 GMC Yukon XL Denali. Is it the ultimate full-size SUV? Are you planning to buy a 2024 model, or maybe wait for 2025 and see what comes out then? I'm always curious to know what your plans are and what your thoughts are. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC for loaning this model for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.